Did you know that it is possible to be fluent in English even while you still have an intermediate level? That's right. Many learners believe that they have to achieve an advanced level before they'll actually be considered fluent. And this is probably because many learners don't actually know what the different levels mean. Like, what are the details that separate one from the next and how to determine which one they are. The truth is that you might need a much lower level than you think to actually be achieving your goal of English fluency. We're going to go over what the different levels are and try to help you to figure out which level you're at currently. So Thiago, what's CEFR? And why are we using this scale today?
CEFR stands for Common European Framework of Reference, and this is the global international way to determine your proficiency level in a foreign language. We are talking about English here, so that's what it means, the CEFR. I think it's a much more accurate way, actually, of evaluating or analyzing a person's proficiency level, rather than just saying basic, intermediate, and advanced.
Yeah, this is used for many different languages. I think pretty much every language that is an official language in Europe. It's a really great scale to know because even if you go beyond learning English, it'll apply the same sort of measurement to any other language that you're learning. And you prepared a short video actually explaining what each of the different levels mean, which I believe will be helpful also for learners to self-diagnose what level they might be at. So let's take a look at that.
The 6 levels on the CEFR. A1, you are a beginner. You have just started on your English learning journey. A2, now you are a pre-intermediate speaker or high beginner. You can communicate some simple ideas using simple phrases. Now things start to get interesting at B1. Now you are officially an intermediate speaker and you can understand much more. You can already communicate with some fluency, but you might still struggle to find the right words. Now B2 is a great level because at B2 you are already quite fluent. I like to think of B2 as fluent with mistakes. You can live abroad, you can work in an English-speaking environment, and you can do many things at B2 level or high intermediate. Now, if you really want to master the English language, you have to consider levels C1 and C2. These are the most advanced levels of English. The words here, the vocabulary is much more complex, and the grammar much more sophisticated. Which level are you?
All right, Thiago, so which level should learners be aiming for?
Yeah, but that is very personal and it varies from person to person. But what most learners mean when they say that they want to become fluent in English is not that they want to become advanced level speakers, but they want to communicate naturally and confidently in most everyday situations. For you to be able to achieve that, you don't need a super advanced level. B2 level is already great for you.
Even as you were saying B1 level, you're already starting to notice some fluency, right? There's a lot of situations. I've even had a guest on many, I guess it was a couple of years ago, Shannon Kennedy, and she talked about situational fluency, I believe is how she called it, where you might be fluent in certain situations, but not others, depending on what vocabulary you have acquired and maybe how confident you are in a certain situation. So you might be fluent if it's going to the bar and having a beer and having a conversation with a new person, but having a presentation at work, you might freeze up because you don't have the vocabulary. You've not done that before. It's a new situation. So that's something interesting to think about too, is that fluency has nothing to do really with meaning that you're at a certain level. It more has to do with in a certain situation, are you able to communicate yourself in a way that flows?
Yeah, that reminds me of that lesson we did a while ago, detailing the difference between fluency and proficiency/accuracy. Fluency is about your flow. It's about communicating without much hesitation and about successfully conveying your ideas. Whereas proficiency or accuracy is about your hardcore knowledge of the language, let's say. Your vocabulary range, your use and application of grammar structures. So the more proficient you become, the more situations you are able to operate in.
Right.
I'm sure you've been learning many cool words and expressions in this lesson, right? But let me tell you that if you don't review these words and expressions very soon, you will likely forget them. Actually, this is something that my students always tell me, how they learn words and expressions in content, videos, media, but when they have to speak English out there in the real world, the words don't come to them. They forget them.
But don't worry, because there's a powerful system you can use to memorize vocabulary much faster. This system is called spaced repetition. Spaced repetition is a learning technique that involves reviewing and revisiting information at increasing intervals over time. The basic idea is to expose yourself to the information you're trying to learn in a way that optimally reinforces your memory. This is an advanced technology that works with your brain's natural tendency for memorization using intelligent flashcards. And we have made it easy for you to incorporate spaced repetition with the RealLife English app. With the app, you can learn tons of words, phrasal verbs, and expressions with our technology. This technology helps to review the words you're trying to remember by presenting the new vocabulary to you at strategic times. Thousands of learners just like you are already using the app to get confident, natural English. Wouldn't you also like to effortlessly use the right words and expressions when you need them? Now let's hear what one of our app users has to say about the app.
All right, so Paris says, it is a convenient method to build up confidence for speaking English. Thanks so much for your 5-star review, Paris. And you, dear viewer, if you also want to take your English speaking skills to the next level, then look no further than the RealLife English app. It's free to download. You're gonna make friends from all around the world and have a ton of fun improving your naturalness and confidence speaking English. We say a lot here, start with why. That's part of our RealLife way, our method for learning English. And what you were saying before about it being something that's very personal, which level should you aim for? And that's a really great place to start, is why are you learning the language? And once you've determined that, we've done other videos where you can go deeper on that. But once you've determined your personal purpose for learning the language, it's going to be much clearer to you. Will B1 already be good? Do I just need to have some resources so when I travel, I don't get in a sticky situation, or I don't get stuck not being able to order something that I like in my favorite type of restaurant, and so on? Or are you the type of person who really wants to reach a high position in your career? And so it's important that you have English that really stands out as being confident and accurate at the same time.
That's it. Yeah, there you go.
And why might someone want to go for a C2 level? Is it necessary if you want to be advanced to go all the way?
No, not at all. I think that C2 is such a specific level, to be honest. If you want to go for an advanced level, C1 already suits you very well. I think that C2 is so specific that it depends on who you are and what you want with the language. Just to give a brief overview here, because the video we just watched was really short. So at B2 level, you are able to communicate successfully in most everyday situations, meaning that you can live abroad, you can live in an English-speaking country and go grocery shopping, go to events, meet friends there, no problem at all. You can even work in an English-speaking environment. You can interact with your bosses, with your supervisors, your co-workers successfully, and even give presentations, all at B2 level. I like to think of B2 level as fluent with mistakes, meaning that you are fluent, you communicate naturally already, but maybe the frequency of mistakes you make when you communicate is still a little bit high compared to more advanced levels. Now, if you have the purpose of learning English for academic purposes, for maybe studying, maybe you want to go abroad to take a college course, then maybe a C1 level is more suited for you, so that you are able to really follow a college course that is taught fully in English. So I think it's important to make that very clear. And C2, I think I see some scenarios here, Ethan. If you are super passionate about the English language, I think it makes sense for you to go all the way up to C2. If you are an English teacher and you want to really polish your language skills to the best of your abilities, it makes perfect sense to go there. So I think it's about being passionate about the language and your current situation. But for most people, B2 for everyday situations and work and immigration, and C1 for more academic purposes. These are like the sweet spots, I would say.
Yeah, I've heard also that the C2, I believe here, at least in Europe, is what you would need if you want to teach at a university, if you want to teach a language at a university.
Yeah.
And C1, I think this is a useful way to think of it too, is that it's the level that people have in their native language when they graduate high school. So basically you have the same level of the language as someone who's graduated high school, which is any adult who's living in the country and using the language semi-professionally or professionally, right? So I think C1 for many learners is a really great place to aim for if you're wanting to get advanced. B2 is a great place to also aim for. You can, like you said, you can even work. I think many people on our team, if they were to take a test, would probably be at that B2 level, and they really have no issues with their communication or with any of their work that they have to do, even working at an English teaching company, right? And that's really going to be a place where you feel pretty confident and fluent in your capabilities.
That is true. What you mentioned briefly there about the C2 for more advanced academic studies, that is also true. I forgot to mention that, but it is true. So maybe master's degree or doctor degree or doctorate degree. Yeah, C2 is definitely the one to go there. Thanks for learning with us. You should know though that this was just a small bite or a short clip of the full lesson. If you want to listen to the entire lesson, download the Real Life English app for free right now and listen to the full version over there.